Welcome back. My name is Nick, and I have Kyle here with me. Pecos with the Zero on Instagram. He's a super talented artist. He also helps us with our shirt designs. Go to AsArt.space for our shirt designs. We have a Gallivespian shirt. We have an Audi shirt from the show Severance to Raised by Wolves. By the way, save Raised by Wolves. It's been removed from the platform. Did a video here. Join the Discord. Do what you can to help save Raised by Wolves and help Mother get out of her. Not gonna spoil it anyways, but we're here for comments for his Dark Materials. We've been doing reviews, deep dives, comment videos, episode reviews, you name it. We've been covering from his Dark Materials all the way from the Land of the Dead, the Harpies, Gallivespians, Mulefa, to John Perry, to Marissa Coulter, to Mary Malone, to Yorick. You name it, we've been covering it here. It's been so much fun.
Except Will Perry, because I forgot.
So subscribe. That's going to be coming soon. Also with our season 3 recap Kyle's doing. By the way, if you haven't seen our season recaps, they're a lot of fun. Yes, they're serious, but in a fun way. Like, I highly recommend watching them. Kyle does such a great job writing it. It's so much fun. I'm just here for the laughs, basically. But today we're diving into your comments, and this is a lot of older comments. We've been very distracted with doing deep dives where we neglected a lot of your comments. We're answering a lot of comments from season finales and the Man in the Box videos and stuff like that. So super excited to jump in.
Time for those clickety-clackety comments. All right. So Chris Wiz says, love your content.
Thank you.
What is next on the list of series that you'll be reviewing?
Ooh.
Also, I had a question about the knife bear. The original old man died shortly after Will took over the knife, right? Is it only a man that ends up bearing the knife? And is it not supposed to be the end of your life once you no longer bear the knife? Or does Will breaking the knife change the path of the bearer?
So from my knowledge from the book, I think there could only be one bearer of the knife. So like once he taught him how to be the knife bearer, one, he wanted to be protected from the specters anyways, because he would no longer have the knife. And two, it's just like there can only be one master. It's like the One Ring. Like no, it's not like the One Ring, because that was always Sauron. But anyways, I from what I remember correctly, I should have read these comments before reading them here, but I believe there can only be one person, and also the specters, and that's why he knew he was a goner anyways once he separated from Will and Lyra. So
right. Yeah. So it was pretty convenient in that sense.
And then what was content? Oh, Kyle, do you want to update them with some content we're going to be doing in the future?
Yeah, so I mean, we're going to be. I'm bringing up my list here.
We have a list. We're getting organized.
So we're going to be we're going to be wrapping stuff up with his Dark Materials by next week. So we're going to have like a Will Perry deep dive, character deep dive. Then we're going to do his Dark Materials season 3 recap. Yeah. Finally rounding out the whole recap series for his Dark Materials. And then we're going to be getting into some Dune stuff. Yes. We're going to be, ramping back up to that, do some more deep dives and other content with that. We're also going to be looking into Willow, though we're kind of, we're going to let that simmer a little bit more.
We have some thoughts.
It's there, though. And then, we're going to be slowly ramping up into Severance as well, because that's going to be coming out, I believe, end of this year, right?
Mm-hmm. And then... Yes. I don't know. It might even come out sooner. There has been, actual dates. I know they started filming a while ago, and
in October. Yeah.
And I'm also thinking about doing The Last of Us. I'm thinking about doing a halfway through the season. It'll be more of an opinion video. I'm going to bring a gamer on who's played it with me, so they can actually do comparisons to the game. I've only watched playthroughs when it first came out. That was a long time ago, so my memory is very hazy at best. But that's also some stuff on our list for sure. We're super excited. This is gonna be a good year. Subscribe for all the good content.
Okay, so this next one comes from K. I love the simplicity of the name. Man in the Box lyric, maybe Alice in Chains.
Yeah, it was. That was so good. That was such a fun video. Yeah. Man in the Box.
Takes me back to high school. So, and now, Ravindra, sorry, I'm going to pronounce this right. Let me practice for a little bit. Ravindra Keolani. Ravindra Keolani says, I'm literally so confused about what dust finally is, or what it does. I thought it was just angels, but angels are made of it. But then people emit dust? I'm seriously confused about it after the finale. So All right.
Go for it. All you.
Yeah. So Ravindra, maybe I could say it's dust is pure consciousness. And so what that is that like it can also, because it's conscious, it can manifest itself into other beings. So like the angels, right? Now, a slight correction, like humans or people don't necessarily emit dust. They attract dust because they are also conscious beings, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so like dust also has guided their evolution and like different stuff as well. So you could almost like say that angels are like executors of dust's will in a sense, right? Although the authority was an offshoot of that. He decided to claim himself the originator of all life, and essentially try to manipulate it, right?
Well, he did actually to a really good while.
He did.
Yeah.
He actually did a great job in manipulating
I
it.
mean, look at the worlds. They all kind of had very similar issues.
Yeah. And so like
good job, Enoch.
Ravindra, I hope that answers it a bit. But yeah, it's also made, like dust is also made, I feel, to be a bit mysterious in that sense, right? I mean, I guess I would turn that question around to you. Like, I mean, how would you define consciousness, right? You probably come up with a set of, characteristics that are symptoms of being conscious, but not understanding the true substance of what consciousness is itself, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of a Russian nesting doll. It's just crazy.
And it's also very finite too, where you have to have special lenses to see it, or like the Mulefa, who probably evolved to be able to see dust because of all the oils they got in their eyes or something like that. I don't know. You know what I mean? With the sea pods, and they rub their eyes with their trunks, and now they can see dust. So
yeah. Now, this next comment comes from Nick Zales, maybe a diamond guy. I don't know. But he says, or he asks, was this a show for adults or kids? It tried to be both, and that did not work. 6 out of 10. Ooh, he even had a score. All right. Well, all right. I guess, Nick, it all depends on what you, what your expectations were.
I'm going to say the book is for kids. This show's for adults ish, or teens.
Yeah, so
teens adults, young adults.
So the genre is called young adults. So I would say that like I
guess even the book would
Nick,
be young adults too.
Yeah. So like there's definitely it's definitely from the young adults genre. So it has a mixing of both children's and adult themes because it's a coming of age tale. Right?
Yeah.
So that's the thing. If you came into this with certain expectations, I mean, obviously you might be disappointed depending on how it's portrayed. But 6 out of 10 though, I want to say that's still a passing grade in some classes. So that's a D. That's a D minus. So
D's get degrees. Also, I want to say though, I think the extra time spent with Mrs. Coulter and Lord Asriel may have felt more adultish, though. In the books,
that's true.
We're heavy on Lyra's perspective and Will's perspective on the books. We do get some spin-off of other characters' perspectives, but it's very heavy on Lyra and Will, where in the show, there's a lot more backstory on the adults, which I don't know if that makes it feel more adult than the books, but there are adult themes in the books. Actually, there's a lot heavier adult themes in the books than there are in the show too, especially when it comes to death and dealing with all that stuff. And but yeah, I hope that answered your comment.
I think so. This next one comes from Fred Carrillo. The monkey demon does say a word in the Amber Spyglass novel. As Lyra starts waking up from her sleep in the cottage/mountain, she heard her mom talking to the monkey, and he replied with a word. He even has a name. If you Googled it, lol. Well, you caught me with my pants down, Fred.
Well, I think this all comes back to me because I was like, he says something in the books, and remember, like in my mind, I like remember him saying something, but I couldn't pinpoint it. Even while I was like kind of doing the audiobooks while I was working and stuff, having it on the background, I didn't even come across it again. But a lot of people are backing me now, saying he did say something. So
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't confirm yet, but hopefully
They can only cover so much content.
Yeah, I know. It's to the point now. I'm like listening to Dune and his Dark Materials where I'm mixing up worlds. I'm like, spice? No, dust. No, 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 no. What's going on? Salt? Okay.
But yes, Fred, thank you for that. All right. And then, the Red-Eye Jedi. I like
that's a good name.
how that sounds. Rolls off the tongue. Excuse me. So I haven't. Sorry. So Red-Eye Jedi says. So I haven't read the books, and I have a question about deaths. If all conscious beings have a death, does that mean angels have deaths? Did the Authority have a death that the Crystal Prison kept away from him? What's up with the deaths? Can they die? Literally, I mean, what's up with the deaths? So yeah, so I guess he's he's bringing up a good point because the angels are like I would call them extracorporeal.
Yeah.
Right.
Ooh.
So
well, I don't think angels have a death because angels don't go to the land of the dead.
Right. They are a part of the ether that is the cosmos, basically.
And the deaths are just there to guide you to the land of the dead.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they die because technically, well, once Lyra's and Will's demons lead them to the land of the dead, their demons split. They go their separate ways, but technically, even though they're at the land of the dead, their demons are still alive. So I don't know if they're dead. Their death dies. I don't know. That's a tough question.
So I would say to this Red-Eye that since you didn't read the books, if we just strictly take a look at the show, we didn't see any angels in the land of the dead.
Yeah.
Right. So we can assume they did not have deaths.
Yeah.
We also know from the books also is that through Balthamos and Baruch, how they talk about each other, like when Balthamos is going to rejoin with Baruch, he's like, I'm going to meet him again in the ether, right? As they dissipate into
matter,
dematerialize. We get the sense that like they don't necessarily die; they're just redistributed into existence.
It's like a giant recycling program.
Exactly. Wow, Nick, that was really unromantic.
Circle of life. Okay, it's the circle of life from Lion King.
There you go. And you brought it back. Nice.
But yeah,
great recovery.
The death question, I don't know, because we know the Gallivespians might have even had a death. I can't remember if we get to see their death in the show, but we know a part of their soul was left on the shoreline. And so I wonder if they have a death too, because remember there was other Gallivespians in the land of the dead, just like there was Mulefas. So Mulefas probably even have a death. So I guess if you're meant to be like once you die, you end up in the land of the dead, you probably have a death. No idea what happens with the death after that, like because the death technically hides the whole time. So I don't know if it just goes back into hiding for the rest of its life. Or...
I mean, I would say that, like you said, like so we saw like Gallivespians and other Mulefa in there, right? So like if we can assume X and Z, right, then we can assume that Y they had a death at some point.
Yeah,
I mean that's
our best theory. I mean, we're not 100%.
So you know what, Red-Eye, I wish we had more concrete answers for you, but right now it's all philosophical.
That might be a good deep dive for later on, sometime maybe down the road, talking about deaths. But
the very nature of deaths, as portrayed by Philip Pullman. Okay. Oh, so we've got a double feature from Kimchi here.
Yeah.
So Kimchi
Daily
says,
double.
the daily double. So at 9:05, is there anything in the books that suggests bodily repair by going back to your own world happens? The short snapshot we get of the life of Charles in both realms barely hints at that, as he must have been back and forth anyway.
Yeah. We basically just get it from Will's dad. He's the one that basically explains to us that by living apart in different worlds for so long, your body, because he was getting sick and stuff like that. And he guesstimated around 10 years kind of thing, because it's been like 10 years and he knew his body was dying. And then I think the Lord Boreal part comes in basically with Lyra and Will trying to determine like when they're trying to reason in the book to the angels and the witch, like when they're trying to reason their reason for staying together, they're like, well, Lord Boreal did it and he was fine, and they're like, well, he was able to recharge. So it's like one of those things they were just like looking for
he's like a battery, you know.
So I mean, I think that's basically that's where it came from. It was Will's dad. Was he telling the truth? I don't know, but
yeah,
I just know the beginning of the world, they were tricked by angels, and at the end they listened to angels again. So meet the new boss, same as the old boss.
Wow. Nothing really ever changes, does it? Dang. And so the second the second part of Kimchi's question. So at 7:40, a cracking point from Cha Nick. What?
Well, I always mess up cha.cha.cherry, her
right.
her Instagram name, because I always go cha.
Right.
I go cha
Nick,
cha.
you didn't introduce her properly.
Cha. I know. I mess up every single time. It's almost a joke at this point.
I've really loved these vids. Of course, the stakes were high. It wasn't just one world. It was the multiverse at stake. But I don't think we got the sense of that at all from the series. I was even confused by why Azrael had a war in the first place and what he thought would be achieved. And I didn't get left with the sense from the books. It was two separate paths that ultimately led the same way. The only one window instead of two, compared to the countless thousands that were causing the problem. Nonsense is just that. Well, sorry.
No, you're good. There's a lot.
Yeah, and always has been for me. As a fan, though, I accept it as a heartbreaking but beautifully poetic ending. And I hope this year to visit that bench that day with all the other fans who make that pilgrimage here in the UK. What? That's cool.
Field trip.
That's we're going on a bus. Wow, that's cool.
The magic bus.
Actually, I'm really curious to know more about that. Like, if so, there is this like a small, or I don't know how big of a group of people that actually do that.
That would be so cool. Oxford,
yeah.
That would be really sick. But
Nice.
It's very true what you're saying about even like the windows in the books. There are a lot of loose ends to the story if you really dive down into it. I mean, it's like that with a lot of stories, except for Lord of the Rings. No, I'm just kidding, but it's like that with a lot of stories. And the more you break it down, the more you're like, well, technically, you know what I mean? You can really go into it and break it down. But I think overall, the idea of them not being together for their short life, but being together for eternity was like the reason of closing the windows and stuff like that. And the idea too of everyone needs to live in their separate worlds kind of thing. So I don't know. Hope that helped. Thank you so much for your awesome comments. The Daily Double, and hopefully we would all be able to go there in the UK. That would be amazing to all. I don't know how all of us would fit on the bench, but maybe we can start a line and get organized.
Hey, it's the UK. They start a queue. It's cool. It's cool.
Which we saw in the show's Land of the Dead. Anyways.
Yeah.
So
this comment comes from James Phelps. At the end of the show, how come we didn't see the boat people from season 1 again? So the Egyptians,
yeah,
right?
I know, because it's
because
in
they're
the
kind
books.
of salt and peppered throughout the books.
Yeah,
right? They're like
they come there. There's a giant party. They go on the land. They feast with the Mulefa. They eat their food. Yeah. They come. They eat. They leave. So they just
the Egyptians throw some awesome parties. All right?
And then there's like a whole boat ride back through the thing, and that's like they're all on the boat together. And then they walk through Chitagazzi, and that's like this whole thing. So. Yeah, I was completely removed. And it was such a bummer, too, because the last time we saw them was book 1, I guess you would say. And we just never...
They had the biggest part.
We just never got... Yeah. I mean, we just never got a closing end to that story. Maybe they couldn't get the actors back for the price or something like that. And they were just like, oh, let's just scrap this boat thing. So...
And this next comment comes from Noam Klein. Hey, my comment was addressed again. Thank you. I'm going to assume you also read my longer comment, unless Brit, is that how you spell it? Yeah. Knows Hebrew, which seems unlikely. That makes all three of us.
Yeah, we definitely read the longer comment.
Two of the oddest book points. The Arctic foxes that can kind of speak. It actually reminds me of Lord of the Rings. There was a small fox scene there too, and the repentance before the sin thing. It is kind of weird. The polar bear's dust situation is actually unaddressed in the books, which I kind of find odd. Why didn't Lord Asriel try to take a picture of adult and young armored bears? But besides them not wanting to cooperate, there's a chance that no one would consider it, since they were focused on dust being sin, which isn't a bear thing. Also, random piece of trivia, just to confuse everyone. Great. There are at least 4 Enochs, or people with the same Hebrew name. Transliteration may differ. In Genesis, 2 of which before the flood, and the other 2 descended from Abraham. The Enoch that became Metatron, the regent, was one of the ones before the flood. Enoch, son of Jared. Now, I'm kind of tempted to try publish somewhere a deep dive into religious lore in HDM, and I only know the Jewish side of things. Hey, Gnome, that would be sick. I would watch that.
Yeah.
If you did like a deep dive on that, that'd be sick.
That would be really cool.
Like you should see some of my other YouTube watching like stuff about alchemy and like alchemical processes throughout. It's weird. Yeah. But anyway.
But it's very interesting.
Going back.
The foxes thing, because I think I brought that up when we were talking about it with Brett. Was it with you or Brett? I can't remember. There's been so many videos.
Well, you mentioned it in passing with me.
Okay. Yeah, perfect. And then it probably was with you. And it's so interesting in the books because they speak in half sentences and they're not like fully coherent and they like lie and they're known for messing up information. I love that little detail of the world. That like built the world for me. And just like the little things. I remember we did the review of Castle in the Sky, and there's a moment where he's running around the town, right? Or he's running down the street, and there's like a little girl with a pig. And for you, you're like, that sealed the world for me. It was like the smallest little action in the background. You're like, that made the world. Not like, whatever, the breaking of the shirt before they fight and all that. It's like, not that. This made the world for me. And I feel like that with the fox, when I was reading the book, it sealed the world. Like it completes like, okay, you got polar bears, you got this, and it was like, this is the missing piece to the puzzle. But anyways, I just really like that part.
Really, it is the straw that broke the camel's back in true suspension of disbelief.
And then the whole penance thing is very weird. I think it's just used for great storytelling in this book.
and Lord, is no
Gomez
referring to the magisterium stuff?
Yeah.
So this is okay. That's actually a thing I can talk about. So that's actually a thing from Catholicism in the medieval ages, right? Or in the Middle Ages. Sorry. So you would do like penance for future sins. So it's almost like a bank, right? That you like kind of deposit,
on your back, I guess,
by
with
beating
whips.
it out of you, basically. So if you do commit a sin, you're already covered, baby. Yeah. Kind of like, like there's also indulgences and all that stuff too. But we're getting off topic here. Also, Gnome, the thing about the Panzerbjorn, very interesting thing to bring up. I don't know. That's interesting why they didn't do that.
Well, because I think there was a comment. Someone commented about if polar bears go to the land of the dead. I'm like, I don't think they do, because I don't know if they're created as like dust as like the other humans are and stuff in their world.
Yeah. I wonder if any species or being that has been helped along in their evolution by the authority are the only ones that go into the land of the dead.
Maybe that's a good question.
I just thought. Yeah, I just thought of that. Huh. Well, no, I wish we had more concrete answers. But again, all we got is philosophical postulation. All right. So this next comment comes from one really great guy, and I'm sure you are, buddy. So I'm confused. Did they get eternal life or not? And if they didn't, what did they fight the war for? So there could be more dust. So there could be more dust in the world. Okay. So the war, if I remember correctly, is not for eternal life. It's for their control of their own destiny.
Yeah.
Is how it's phrased, I believe, from Lord Asriel. Yeah. So the object of the war is that the authority is basically in control of the destiny of all sentient conscious beings, because he has control over them. So this war is fought for them to wrest back their freedom, essentially, to have their own autonomy and take control of their own destiny again. So there's no, to coin, to mention the term predestination.
Oh,
in that sense,
but maybe
right?
he means eternal life as meaning now they can leave the land of the dead.
Oh, yeah. So that,
maybe that's what he's talking about the eternal life.
So in that sense, if that's what you do mean, great guy, then yes, they did get eternal life.
Yeah.
Because they are being like, I know, like it looks like they disintegrate, but it's like their essence becomes one with the rest of the cosmos, which, if you think about it, is one giant soul or like spirit or something like that. Membrane of being.
And that was the great choice I believe Lyra had to make.
Yes. Yeah. Basically, that was I think at one point in the book they called it the final victory over death kind of deal, right? Is that
yeah, exactly.
Okay. So Dumisa Indikinda is back.
Yes.
I remember a comment, from earlier. So Father Gomez, deep dive needed. Oh, all right. So we've got some interest in Father Gomez.
Yes,
right.
And we have a deep dive on him. And we've been doing deep dives on a lot of different characters too. So subscribe, get the links, follow this link, go to the playlist. It will be there.
It'll be there waiting for you.
I'll be there. Okay.
And this next one comes from Lulks Mew. Nick, you remind me of a PG. Long hair, wholesome.
Wholesome Destiny?
Wholesome Destiny? Love the content, man. Thank you for covering this. Best coverage I found out there. Oh, dang, these accolades, Nicholas. Excited to go to your past videos and future shows you shall discuss.
There'll be a lot of content there for sure.
Heck yeah.
And there's more coming. You ain't seen nothing yet.
As always. The spigot is always on with this guy. So
thank you so much for your comment.
This next one comes from Gavin Pollard. I agree. It is a big deal not to show the actual spyglass construction as it was in the book. The disc alone was just lazy.
Right?
Each book focuses on one instrument. The first is the Lyra's alethiometer, the second is Will's subtle knife, and the third book is Mary's amber spyglass. And yes, The Land of the Dead was a total fail. Fail in the story?
Yeah, I'm guessing it's in the story.
Okay. The boatman in the show was horrible. Cheaply done. Yeah. I mean, yeah, you get your hits and you get your misses.
And then, when you read the book too, you kind of think about your own way the boatman was going to look and stuff. I mean, I liked how the lines were pretty much there, what he spoke. The way the boat looked and how it went on, like I pictured it more of a rowboat and not like this guy sat on a chair kind of thing. Like I almost picture like the guy would almost be like attached to the boat. He's been in it for so long. It's almost like in Pirates of the Caribbean, like Davy Jones's crew. They've been on the ship for so long, they become like part of the ship. They have like wood planks and like crustaceans on their face and stuff like that. That's how I almost pictured the old man on the boat. Like even when he moved, he sounded like wood, like scraping along. But
and the next comment from Deja Rojeski. I have never before commented on YouTube, but I really feel compelled to tell you how pleased I was to find this video. Most film reviews and Q&As are so negative, like their ideas are better than the writers, directors, producers, etc. Zach in Ohio. I'm sure none of the people making the show thought of your idea/complaint. To the thousands of Zachs, you can express an opinion without being a dick. But I digress. You mentioned the issues of their budget and constraints. It was nice to watch a video in which you expressed disappointment without being dicks, while also showing you have a more than rudimentary understanding of how the film TV industry works. Thank you.
That was very nice.
Thank you, Deja.
Thank you so much.
Is,
just don't watch our rings.
Men's praise.
Yeah, just don't watch our Rings of Power video, please.
Nick, we're only human.
We did our
Sometimes
best.
you
We
break
did our
down.
best. We did our
Sometimes
best with
you break
Rings of
down.
Power, but obviously me and Kyle have worked in the film industry, so we understand budgets, constraints, and timelines, and like, you know, when they're on set, they're like, we'll just fix it in post.
And the razor thin edge that the human spirit can be cast upon. It's just, whew,
so, and even John, all three of us have dealt with the craziness of the VFX pipeline and animation pipelines to compositing. I mean, you name it, there's a pipeline for it, and it always gets compressed because it's at the very end of the thing. So we understand it from the VFX one really well. We also understand acting and budgets and shooting locations and not being. We understand, like, it's not a perfect.
We went to art school, and filmmaking is, you know,
ingrained in our blood now. After
a required area of study.
The loans. No, I'm just kidding. No. And on that bombshell. No, I'm just kidding. That's no bombshell. Thank you guys so much for your comments. Go follow Kyle on Instagram, Pecos with the Zero. He's a super talented artist. Go say hi. Say you come from AsArt. And also check out his artwork. By the way, his artwork we put on shirts too and stuff. Go check it out. AsArt.space. I hope you enjoyed our crazy dive into his dark materials. It's like over 30 plus videos. I can't even count how many videos we've done.
And it's sadly, but you know, it's coming to an end.
We still have some videos in the pipeline.
Yeah, we still have a couple left, but this is we're closing that book pretty soon.
We're running out of content, but but we're jumping over to Dune. Dune's gonna be so much fun. We love Dune. That's why, like, it's funny when I was rereading Dune and also rereading his Dark Materials, I was starting to get the lores mixed up and stuff like dust, spice, worms, polar bears, no, and
plot twist, they're the same thing.
Blue eyes. And we're also gonna be doing Severance, which is a fun show we really enjoyed on Apple, which you guys recommended to us after Raised by Wolves. Hashtag save Raised by Wolves. It's been removed. Go to the Discord, go to the servers, do whatever you can to do what you can to get Raised by Wolves on another platform. And we're also going to be doing some other shows here. So subscribe to stay updated. Go to Instagram, follow Kyle, Pecos with the Zero on Instagram, and we'll see you on the next AsArt.
Yeah.
Woo, dude!
Ooh, those comments,
so
baby.
Nice.
Yeah,
they were
spicy. They were savory. They were sweet. You know, there's